Harry was a young web developer who launched a newsletter called Marketing Examples in 2021. In the first 18 months, he was able to grow it to 42,000 subscribers and 230,000 in the first 3 years. His phenomenal growth attracted a lot of eyeballs in the marketing world, and his newsletter was ranked #1 marketing newsletter. How was he able to do this as a young web developer with no marketing experience, and what can you take away from his incredible success? I closely studied his newsletter and interviews and realized something. Harry has unlocked a new growth method for marketers and creators that is so simple. He applied this formula for every issue of his newsletter. 6 simple steps, and the secret sauce might just be in the way he distributes his content. Harry shares in an interview that he would spend all of his spare time reading marketing books, blogs, you name it, but he had no experience, no recognition in this space, and he was up against newsletters that had been around for many years. So how did he do it? How did he go from 0 to 130,000 subscribers in such a short amount of time? Let's break it down. Firstly, he spent a lot of time researching and producing amazing high quality content. Without this, I don't think his newsletter would have taken off anyway. So he really nailed the product first, and then all of the other steps came in.
The reason why my site converts fairly well is because the content's very short, sharp, thought through.
Secondly, he optimized his website for conversions. He had multiple sign-up reminders on his website, in the header, sidebar, at the end of most articles, and even an exit intent pop-up. This is the one that comes up on the screen right before you're about to leave that page. And you might be thinking, those pop-ups are so annoying, but it seems that they work. This accounted for 50% of his signups, believe it or not. Thirdly, Harry understood that people are busy. He needed to wow them where they are at, not where he wants them to be. So he studied his audience, figured out where they hung out, and based his distribution strategy based off of that. He natively posted on each platform, taking the time to create tailored content for each one.
Essentially, people are busy, so you've got to wow them where they're already at. So what I did is I'd write these articles and I would write them out on my website, but then also in full on Twitter, as a thread, on Reddit, on the different subreddits, Entrepreneur, as a full article, and then on Indie Hackers, on Facebook groups, literally everywhere. I would just put the article, had to get the word out somehow. And then at the end of each article, I would say, hey, I thought this was good. Well, you might like the newsletter that I write. I write it twice a month. Try it. Slowly but surely, the email started ticking up. And then I thought to myself, well, I'm kind of doing this on Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit kind of pretty well. But what about if I did it on Instagram and LinkedIn as well? So again, exactly the same principle. I would take the content I wrote and just tailor it to these different platforms. So Instagram, I would use slideshows. LinkedIn, I would use slideshows. There's no one size fits all method of sharing content. Essentially, I would just tailor it to the platform.
Fourth step of his formula is distribution, and it all starts before he even hits the publish button on that article. And you might be thinking how he does that in a non-spammy way while also promoting his content. The secret was that he actually created tailored content for each of those platforms that he would publish on. He takes one of the better examples out of the article and publishes it on Twitter, and then also Facebook groups, Slack channels or Slack communities, Instagram, LinkedIn, Indie Hackers. Once he publishes, he then creates a Twitter thread, sends an email to his newsletter, which has been very impactful for him, embeds the thread in the article. He creates a LinkedIn and Instagram carousel, a Reddit post, Indie Hackers post, Hacker News post, and whatnot. He explains his content strategy as a spider web.
It's as important how you get people to share your article as kind of the newsletter process in itself. So a technique I found which worked really well is at the end of my newsletter, at the end of my article, I would sort of push people in a way towards my greatest. Twitter's the way I get all my newsletter subscribers. So at the end of the newsletter and in the article, I would push people to the Twitter thread and say, hey, look, if you enjoyed the newsletter, please show some love to the thread on Twitter, or share it with a friend or whatnot. And then at the end of my Twitter thread, I would link the newsletter. And then when people sign up to the newsletter, they get a welcome email, which tells them to subscribe to the Twitter, Instagram, and connect on LinkedIn. And then on LinkedIn, they get the slideshow. And then at the end of a slideshow, it says, can you join the newsletter? So it's basically one big spider's web I've kind of created where every little platform kind of pushes you to the next.
Next step in his formula is using creative, conversion-focused copy on his opt-in forms. See, Harry doesn't just use industry standard generic copy on his opt-in forms. They're designed to convert people in a smart, no-brainer way. Instead of simply saying subscribe, he says try it, making you think that what is there to lose if I just sign up with my email now? He also has a list of testimonials from readers, which make it a no-brainer for you to sign up. He literally uses the copywriting secrets he shares on his newsletter in his own copywriting. And the sixth step in his formula is stupidly simple copy. He does not use any fluff or big words, straight to the point and strictly focused on value. I don't know if he'd attest his success to this, to be honest, but I just love how simple his writing is, and it gets you either nodding your head, smiling, or thinking, how did I not think of this before? This is so simple. And the results, Harry was not only able to quit his full-time job as a web developer only 2 months after starting his newsletter, but he was also able to make this and grow this newsletter into one of the most successful marketing newsletters in the world. And he's now referred to as one of the smartest marketers. If you want to learn from other marketers and creators on how they unlock secrets to growth, then subscribe for more videos. The next breakdown I will tackle will be one of the most successful B2B marketers out there today. Subscribe and I will see you soon.